this is Chelsea Lee here with the Lee Group, and I have the honor today to interview Mr. Michael Seeto with Seeto Realty. And Michael, can you tell us just a little bit about yourself?
I can tell you a lot about myself. I'm just a good old boy. I'm one of those very unusual guys that don't sound like what he looks like.
This is very true.
Yep. But I am a real estate broker here in the Plano area. Mm-hmm. I've been in real estate since 2002. Prior to that, I used to work at Smith Barney, where I was focused on asset allocation, where we managed high net worth clientele. Mm-hmm. It's where we learn how to diversify risk and increase return. I've applied it to our real estate market here with a lot of the same concepts. After 2002, getting a license, I eventually started doing a lot of foreclosures. Mm-hmm. From doing foreclosures, I started working with a lot of investors. And then I started doing some seminars to educate folks from out of state to invest here in the Texas market. Awesome. That's a brief snapshot.
Brief snapshot, yeah. But you have been in the industry for a very long time.
Yes, I think I was in the real estate industry when you're knee high.
So it's been a very long time.
Yes.
Yes, a very long time.
Over 20 years.
20 years. And Michael's actually a really, good family friend of ours. So yes. We do trust him when it comes to real estate. And obviously he's the first person that we go to when we go to buy. So thank you, Michael.
Did you know your daddy used to be a realtor with us?
And he did, yes. My daddy was with Michael for a long time. So good times. But Michael, majority of our clients, they do have a goal of purchasing a home, and it's one of the, the biggest purchases that they're going to make. Right. So we really want to just get an insight of what today's market's really like, your insight, and any advice that you have kind of navigating this market. So the biggest question that's coming up is what's really happening with home prices?
Well, home prices, in my opinion, it's kind of stabilized for quite a few months currently. I believe that home prices kind of tripped and stumbled a little bit for the last 6-7 months since the Fed started increasing interest rates. As interest rates went up, it really have tightened the purchaser's side of it. It's been a knee-jerk reaction compared to what the market should have been. Mm-hmm. I think the Fed kind of raised interest rates way too sharply and way too fast, but they had to do it to slow down the inflation out there. So currently, I think that the prices of real estate has really stabilized in the DFW area and mostly Texas area too. Mm-hmm. The pricing has been fairly flat. According to NAR, they expect this year to be kind of flat anyways in terms of the appreciation.
Okay. So then we should just see the home prices stay almost the same then, right? Not drop or go back up.
I think the first part of the year, from current to the summertime, mm-hmm. I think it's still a little soft here and there, but it's kind of stabilized. Okay. But from maybe June to the second half of the year, we'll see some upward trend on the pricing a little bit. In terms of great neighborhoods, we're still seeing multiple offers if the property is priced right. Mm-hmm. In terms of properties that's not priced right, they're starting to sit a bit just because a lot of sellers have the mentality of 8 months ago's market, and it's not the same market anymore.
Okay, and I think that's a big misconception right now is that we're still thinking that things are like they were last year when technically there's no changes.
I think last year was really a seller's market up to a certain point. The market started pivoting about June. It was still a seller's market probably in June, July, mm-hmm. but as interest rate was sharply rising, it turned into a buyer's market. But during the first couple of months of the shift of the market, I think people were not adjusted to it yet. But I think now people understand that the market's changed because, number one, their listings have been sitting for a lot longer than normal. Mm-hmm. Because some of the folks that missed the timing of selling their home last year, they expected to get 1,000 offers within 2 seconds of the property being listed. But now they're lucky to get so many showings per week. And really, if you think about it, it's kind of a very normal market that we're having compared to historic market.
Good.
You know, in terms of historically, I think the mentality is interest rates should have been around the 5% mark, 6% mark back in the 2002s, I think. Now, you know, we've been used to the 2s, the 3s, the 4s, and now I think interest rates just a hair under 6% as of the other day.
Yeah.
You know, people are not used to the high interest, but historically it's not a high interest. It's probably the realistic interest of what the markets typically are roughly. But the way our Fed increased the rates at the speed that they increased it, it really caused a knee-jerk reaction where people just really tightened up on spending because they don't know if they should buy now or not. Or the interest rates are so high, it made payments much higher.
Yeah. As
payments are much higher, they really couldn't afford the same payments as 2 months ago or 3 months ago because of the level of the interest. So.
Yes. Okay. So then, and over the last 2 years, we saw, you know, exactly what you're saying. We saw the homes pop up, market, you know, is overpriced, and multiple offers were pouring in. So do you want to say something about the overpriced?
Yeah, I mean, as a real estate practitioner, I wouldn't call last year being overpriced because the value of a property is based on what a seller's willing to sell the property for and what a buyer's willing to pay for it. Yes. If it's overpriced, it wouldn't be selling typically. But obviously, with the way that the pricing was last year, it's really, the appreciation was really fast and the demand was much higher than the supply. So because the demand was much higher, people were willing to pay a lot more for it than the next person. So the highest paying buyer got the property.
Yes.
So in reality, overpriced means somebody wouldn't be willing to pay for it. But because so many people are waiting in line or fighting for it, the demand is there. So in my opinion, as a real estate practitioner, it wasn't overpriced. It was just a trend in the appreciation in what a buyer's willing to pay to get a property last year.
Awesome. Okay. That makes way more sense than what we've been kind of seeing out there in the news and the media. So the way that you put that, so thank you. And I want to ask you though, how do you, you know, right now with the inventory right now, is there more room to negotiate? Is there a lot of inventory out there?
Yeah, I think so. I think the inventory's kind of gotten a lot larger than they were last year in this time frame. And because of it, sure, there is a lot of room for negotiation. I mean, we're seeing it. We're advising our clients to do it because that's what the market's commanding. Now, some of the things that we're looking for is we're even looking for aged inventory. Aged inventory allows us to negotiate a lot deeper discounts.
Awesome.
I mean, in terms of if you're buying a property, always have your realtor run the comparable analysis. You know, what is the property worth? You know, and what is the interest rate that your clients are getting? If the value is much higher than what the list price is, you know, you're probably a safe bet in buying it where it's at. But if it is something that's the comps are higher and the property is still sitting, usually that's an indicator that it was mispriced in the beginning. That's why I didn't sell. And because it was mispriced, it's causing a significant sluggish opinion by buyers on this specific asset. And because of it, a lot of times then you can leverage that as a buyer to offer a little lower price than you usually would. Sellers are getting nervous because their properties are sitting on the market a lot longer than they're used to hearing about it.
Yeah.
So, you know, look at the days on the market, look at the market analysis, and make a good judgment call with your realtor, follow their advice, and make an offer based on the data out there. So
awesome. That's why it's so important to have a good realtor on your side, 100%. So, and Michael, just with all of your experience in real estate and witnessing what took place back in 2008, 2009, what is your forecast for the Texas market in 2023?
Well, I mean, the 2008, 2009 time is you had high foreclosure.
Yes.
So I'm actually my background is in foreclosure. So we do see that foreclosure inventory is increasing. We do see that all these asset managers are positioning themselves to gather more assets to sell. We do see that it's starting to come out some in terms of the REOs. So REO inventory will increase throughout the year. I think the Freddie Fannie stuff will kind of increase towards the end of the year, but most everybody else is coming out from this point forward. Most everybody is dealing with the foreclosure process or whatsoever, but also with all the forbearance that started in the pandemic, we do see that a lot of people are going towards an alternative part of selling their home too. A lot of folks are starting to talk about the subject to purchases, and that's a rare thing that realtors talk about sometimes. And this is one of those things that allows a buyer to purchase a property with a certain amount of down payment and absorb the existing interest rate that their seller has, but the loan is still in the seller's name, and the house will be in the buyer's name. So, but because of lower interest rate, it allows the seller to gain a higher price because the payments are lower at that price point and interest point.
Perfect. So then it's a perfect time to buy a house.
You know, in terms of purchasing any kind of investment, in my opinion, you cannot time the market. I'm not saying it's a perfect time. I'm not saying it's a bad time, but I think it's a really good time to buy a house. Because typically, any kind of investments, if you think about it, we all invest emotionally sometimes. Investments are best acquired when people are not investing their money into it, right? You buy when the market is towards the bottom, not when it's on the top of the market. A lot of folks will kind of get on this roller coaster of buying on the way up, which is okay. But you don't want to be buying on the way down. I think the downward trend has really stopped, in my opinion, and we're seeing there's an increased activity of buyers starting to get loans approved. We're starting to see an increased level of investments on the investor side because they're not as nervous as the last 6 months. So spending is starting to increase because I think that's an indicator that the consumer confidence is getting stronger. As their confidence gets stronger, they will start to spend more money. In terms of if you're trying to time the market, look, I wouldn't time the market. A good friend of mine said this quote to me: buy and wait, buy real estate and wait, and don't wait to buy real estate. When you're waiting to buy real estate, you may never jump into the investing game. And if you don't invest into it, then your money is sitting in your bank account, just like today with high inflation rates. So a lot of times you're just losing value on the dollars sitting in your savings account or checking account that's not getting enough interest rate to hedge against the inflation out there.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And the last question I just wanted to make sure to ask you was, for all of our first-time home buyers out there, what is the best advice that you would give them today as far as purchasing their first home?
Well, I think, the best advice I can give to a first home buyer is, sounds like number one, you're already taking the necessary steps because you're thinking about it, okay? Real estate is one of those assets, and historically, it always appreciates. I mean, you'll have a little blip here and there through the history of investing in real estate, but real estate is a tangible asset that you put your money on. And if you look at it, historically, it has done nothing but appreciate over time, like a nice steep incline, right? So I think that if you have the ability to purchase real estate, buy it today, and then by next year, you'll see some appreciation. This year, I think you won't see appreciation until the second half of the year. But the thing is, it's about buying and holding it, and gaining access to tax write-offs for interest and different things. And as you have your asset appreciate, you will gain a lot of equity. If you look at the last so many years, if you thought about buying and you didn't buy, you would have lost a lot of the up capture of the markets.
Yeah.
I mean, the last 6-7 months, we had some down capture. But the thing is, when the market's going down, really, you're not fighting as many buyers as before.
Yeah.
So if you're buying it, you're either getting a steeper discount or a much better deal than you would have last year. Because I think a lot of folks are so focused on the interest rate being high, they're not looking at the fact that the same house could have been $50,000 or $70,000 higher today if we didn't have this little drop, right?
Yes.
So in reality, if you're buying at a lower price with a higher interest rate, your payments could be roughly very similar to what it was if you're buying at a higher price with a lower interest rate.
Awesome.
So
yeah, that clarifies a lot of things because we are hearing something else. So thank you.
Yep.
And I just want to say thank you to Michael just for taking the time to do this. We really do appreciate you, and he always brings a lot of value when you're looking for to purchase a home, to lease. He is the go-to guy, and if you are looking to do that, you can make sure to reach out to him. Website is SeetoRealty.com.
Yep.
And this is Michael Seeto, and we'll make sure that we have his information in the caption. But thank you again, Michael.
Yep. Buy real estate and wait. Don't wait to buy real estate.